It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. We're headed into flu season, so COVID is rearing its ugly head, and it's only going to get worse. So from here on out, we will probably be recording all our episodes this way. We apologize for that. Probably for the rest of the season. I can't imagine it wouldn't be until the end of the season. So this week we're talking mainly injuries and with a few starts and sits mixed in. Justin, how are things with you?
Not good. Not good at all.
What's going on, man?
COVID bullshit. Fantasy woes. My first two picks never play. Mixon's a douchebag who broke his pinky toe and apparently he's going to die tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, and it's worse this year than it's been any year, pretty much. And that's without COVID. But all right, so let's just get right into it, and we're going to start with the big guy, Christian McCaffrey. As you know, I made a move for him. I got rid of Todd Gurley. It's an AC joint separation in his shoulder, and I guess they graded on a scale from 1 to 6, 6 being the worst. He got lucky. He's not going to require surgery. Like if it was in a 4 to 6 range in severity, he would require surgery and be out for several months, 6, 7, 8 months. So he'd be done for the season. So he avoided that. So if it's like a 1 or a 2, it's like a matter of 2 or 3 weeks rest. If it's like somewhere right smack dab in the middle where it's not quite bad enough for surgery, but it's still somewhat severe, we could be talking a month or 2. We might not see him until the fantasy playoffs or even beyond. But hopefully it's like a 1 or a 2 and he's just going to need some rest. I'm hoping that because I could really use him right now. If I'm lucky, I'll get him next week. But I realistically believe that I won't have him until after the bye. They got a bye week 13, and I probably won't have him until week 14, which would still be okay. This way I have him if I make the playoffs. I'm in contention right now. But it'd be great to have him paired with Derrick Henry for the fantasy playoffs. But right now we really don't know. Kind of sounds like it's week to week, day to day type thing. So yeah, that's Christian McCaffrey. What did you think about that trade, by the way, Todd Gurley?
I see what you're going for. You're trying to win a Super Bowl. I get that, but you had a safer bet with Gurley, I think. And you're talking about winning games in the playoffs. You got to get to the playoffs, big guy.
Right.
And if you don't let a guy start.
Todd Gurley did do a lot for me, but it was all touchdown dependent. If you look at his fantasy points, 40% of his points come from touchdowns. That's not a really good stat. I mean, it's good to get a lot of touchdowns, but he's got a tough schedule coming up. He's not getting the volume. He's not getting the yards. He's not involved in the passing game pretty much at all. He gets like 1, maybe 2 a game. He's losing a ton of carries to I think his name's Brian Hill. I don't see it, man. I took the value when I could. Hopefully it pays off. If Christian McCaffrey comes back week 14 and I'm in a position to be in the playoffs, holy crap. I mean, my odds go way up. We'll see if it pays off. But I see exactly what you're saying. Gurley's been reliable. Maybe I gave him away for nothing, but we'll see.
I get it.
All right, so moving on to our next guy, and this one's going to be kind of a sore spot for you, but we got Joe Mixon. Actually, today we found out that he's going on IR, and he'll be on IR for at least 3 weeks, which means he's missing at least 3 weeks. He's got that foot sprain, and like for running backs, they put a lot of weight on those when they're making the cuts and stuff, so they usually want to like be sure that they're okay before they get back on the field so they don't aggravate it. But those things just tend to linger, and they're going to play it safe and sit him for a few more weeks, which is good for me because I have Giovanni Bernard.
Well, you know how I feel about that whole situation. No Joe Mixon again. First pick, I think I took him 9th or 10th. 9th, that was the 9th pick. And, I was high on him. And between him and, honestly, a lot of my starters can't stay healthy. Between Miles Sanders missing a couple, Montgomery missing a couple, and now Montgomery's on a bye. Now I got to pick somebody up off the waiver to plug into my RB2 spot because I got no one. and it's just one thing after another with injuries for me. And Mixon, I tried to trade him off earlier in the season, and no one was biting, and now it's hurting.
Yeah.
It hurts when you don't have your RB1, your RB2, and your RB3 playing games.
Right. That's part of fantasy, man. You know as well as I do. Those injuries can be, and they seem to just when they happen, they seem to happen to like the same couple people. You know, it's like your whole half your team is hurt, and then maybe another player in your league's half his team is hurt, and then everybody else is okay. It just seems like when it happens to you, and it's like 3 or 4 of your guys, and your whole season is screwed.
Horrible.
You are lucky to be where you are in the season, honestly.
I had 5 wins in that stupid. I mean, if it wasn't for that stupid tie, who knows? Maybe if I had won that game, who knows? But that's where I'm at now, and I just like it. It seems like every week I got a couple starters not playing, and it's killing me. It looked like Lockett was going to get murdered on Thursday Night Football. You see how they were tackling Lockett?
Yeah.
And Lockett's just kind of one of my
I did see that one. That one weird. Mm-hmm.
I picked him up in like the 5th or 6th round, and I thought I got a steal, and it looked like they were trying to take his head off on Thursday.
That one hit. I know what you're talking about.
Jesus Christ! Leave the poor guy alone.
Yeah, so Giovanni is obviously a start this week. It's not a perfect matchup, but it's also not a bad matchup. I'm definitely going to start him. I need to without Gurley. And also, obviously,
it depends on a lot. It depends on the kind of league you're sitting in. It depends on, I got him in a league. I'm actually benching him, but it's a smaller league with less teams, so I'm a lot more deep. Mm-hmm. So, and I saw the bad matchup, and I just decided I'm not going to start him this week. But like a 10 or 12 team league, Giovanni, this is the one I'm referring to as an 8-team league, so
yeah,
you can see where I have a lot more depth. But definitely 10, 12 teams plus, you're starting him for sure. He looks good.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's a start for sure. And then obviously, if like I said, as long as CMC is out, you're going to start Mike Davis too. That's a solid matchup for him.
I hope it keeps going.
They are playing the Lions, and that leads me to my next guy, DeAndre Swift. Now, if you'd been paying attention, you might have gotten Adrian Peterson, but DeAndre Swift, I guess he picked up a concussion in practice on Wednesday or something, because we didn't get anything until then, and he just wasn't able to clear the protocol in time to suit up tomorrow. So I grabbed Peterson the second I saw that update on Bleacher Report, and fortunately for me, I've got a solid flex this week in a good matchup. They play the Panthers, so I'm flexing him all day, man.
I like it. It's sexy.
Yeah, I mean, old man Peterson should at least get the volume, right?
Oh, for sure, and he runs hard. I mean, there's no doubt he's playing good old fashioned American football right now, and that's what we like to see.
I agree. I'm hoping to get 60 to 100 yards out of him and a touchdown, and I will be content. We'll see, though. You never know. They might get Kerryon Johnson involved a little bit more. So, all right. So now that pretty much covers the running backs on my end. Let's move on to a quarterback, and we're going to talk Drew Brees. The man suffered some cracked ribs and a collapsed lung, for crying out loud.
Dick basically fell off in that game.
At his age, man, that's rough. I mean, that's rough for anybody, but they put him on IR. He's going to be out for at least 3 weeks is what they're saying, but I would be surprised if he's only out for 3. I'd be surprised if he was only out for 4. As a matter of fact, Taysom Hill's getting the start, which is kind of interesting. People were expecting Winston, but I can see why. Taysom Hill is super athletic. I'm not sure what's going to happen with him, but if he looks good, I mean, I can realistically see Drew Brees not coming back until the NFL playoffs, right? I mean, Even then, are they going to force it in if Taysom Hill looks good? I don't know.
I mean, if they're winning games with Taysom Hill and he looks good, I can't imagine you rush Brees back by any means. Why change it? I don't know. I don't see that happening. I don't think Taysom Hill's going to do that great. A lot of people are a little bit high on him. I'm not. He's not Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a stud. Even though he's a senior citizen in the football world, he's still a stud.
Right.
And there's no way he could be replaced that easily.
Yeah, I think if you're starting Taysom Hill in your league, you're pretty desperate. Now, it could be like one of those boomer bust situations where He runs for 80, 90 yards because obviously he's athletic. We know he can run. That's where they tend to use him. So we know he can do that. Question is he going to be able to manage the game like a quarterback should, and is he going to make some good passes? If he can do all that and run the way we know he can, I mean, I'm not going to compare him to Lamar Jackson, but, he could do similar things if
the
probably not.
pressure is
But
too much.
Right.
It's going to be too much pressure. You're going into one of the best teams in the NFL. You're Taysom Hill. You got a lot to prove. You can't screw up, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. He's just going to take a big old fat dirty shit.
If he takes a big old fat dirty shit, it won't take long to get Jameis Winston in there. And if you get Jameis Winston in there, Jameis Winston throws the crap out of the ball. He throws interceptions, but Drew Brees is averaging like 5 air yards. When Jameis Winston plays, he's averaging over 10. So, guys like Michael Thomas are going to have a field day if Jameis Winston is throwing the ball, I think. So, I was kind of hoping that's what would happen, but we'll see. They went with Taysom Hill, and we'll see what happens.
Drew Brees should be filming some Life Alert commercials or something right now, man. Because he got shit on.
He did, man.
He didn't know what to do,
punctured
man.
lung.
ARP.
Or not a punctured lung. Not a collapsed lung. Punctured lung was what's his name over in California? What was the quarterback over in for the Chargers that got his lung punctured by the doctor and Herbert filled in for?
Yeah. Who the fuck was that?
The guy that used to. Anyways, I can't remember his name, but the quarterback, he used to play for the Bills, I think. But he had a punctured lung. Drew Brees has a collapsed lung. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know how much more severe one is compared to the other. But anytime something happens to your lung,
and it collapses
or has a hole in it, that's not good, especially for an old man. All right, but
he's how old is he? 38, 39? Is he even that old? Is he 37, 38?
No, he's a year younger than Tom Brady. What are you talking about? He's not that much younger than Tom Brady. He's a year or two younger than. He's 40.
He's 39, isn't he? 38, 39.
No,
I don't know.
No.
Either way, he's old.
He's up there. He's a little bit younger than Tom, but not by much.
Okay, we'll have to look that up.
I could be wrong, but all right. I have another quarterback, and this one's going to hit pretty close to home. Matt Stafford looks like he's going to tough it out and play with that thumb injury.
He's always hurt.
Right, he's one of those guys that plays in situations like this.
Because he has to.
Yeah, he likes to be tough. I would temper expectations, though, just because Galladay is inactive, Amendola is inactive, and he's hurt. He's hurt, man.
Peterson sucks.
Peterson just has to be good enough to get 20 carries, or I don't know. Just enough to get me some good flex points. That's all I'm expecting out of him. But, I would definitely temper your expectations for Matt Stafford. He's not going to be lights out. He's not going to be hurling the ball around if he's hurt, especially. And without his best weapon, I'm benching Matt Stafford this week, so look for someone else.
Depends on what kind of league you're in, man. Right now, it is pretty goddamn thin.
In our league,
Joe
Burrow's still available in our league. If you can get a guy like that, or, even like a Kirk Cousins, I don't know.
Especially if they got a favorable matchup and they're averaging 16, 17 points a game and they're safe, put him in there, but I'd still stick with Stafford. The ball's going to get thrown. They still got some weapons. Marvin Jones is going to probably get 200 yards and 5 touchdowns. So,
yeah. So, moving on to wide receivers. Devontae Adams' ankle looks like it's better, and he's a go. He's going to play, so obviously we're starting him. That's a no-brainer. Also, Calvin Ridley is cleared to play after, I think he had a foot injury as well. He's got to be in lineups too. Speaking back to the Lions, Kenny Galladay is going to be ruled out, like I just said, against the Panthers. Amendola's out too. And that means Marvin Jones is pretty much a must start, honestly. And not only him, Marvin Hall is probably going to see some work. So, get the Marvins in your lineup if you can get them.
I like it. Yeah, he's definitely going to see. They're just one of those teams that you can depend. If the wide receiver 1 and the wide receiver 2 they're going to get looks.
Right.
Period.
All right, I got a couple tight ends, and then we'll wrap this up. Noah Fant. He missed a couple games a few weeks back with an ankle injury, and he just hasn't looked the same since. He's been playing through it. It seems like every game you see him limping a little bit. He's still getting a decent amount of targets, and he's on the field a decent amount, quite a bit actually. But he's just not getting the fantasy points. He's got a tough matchup this week. I think Fant is a sit for me this week. As much as I hate to say it, the position is super thin, so you might not be able to afford. I'm starting Hayden Hurst over Noah Fant, but if you can afford to bench Fant for somebody, then maybe you should do it. But like I said, it's such a thin position, you probably can't. Depends on your league. I mean, anybody outside of like Waller and Kelsey is just like, you never know.
Yeah, even Andrews this year is hit or miss.
Right,
Man. I mean,
it's a huge drop.
Actually, last week was his first normal tight end. I think he had 6 or 7. Well, in standard PPR, he probably had like 10 or something like that. But in a standard league, I think he only had 60, maybe 70 yards, which is normal. Like, I'll take that from a tight end any day. But usually, he's bang or bust. Usually, it's 2 or 3 points or 16 or 17 points with this guy. I mean, you can call that semi-reliable, I guess, but it's really frustrating.
It is. I mean, fantasy football is one of the most frustrating things I've ever had to deal with in my life. I love it, but it's frustrating, like you said. And things like that just happen. And if you can't handle it, then
exactly. And you throw this year's complications in the mix, and it's only going to get worse. And we were just talking about all the injuries, and I know firsthand in every one of my leagues I've had between Chris Carson and Joe Mixon and David Montgomery and Miles Sanders and whoever else. It just seems like every week I got someone I have to figure out who I'm replacing them with. Every week. I don't think I've started the team I drafted in any league yet this year because of injuries and COVID designations and Judas Priest.
Yep. We knew what this year was going to be. And don't be surprised if some games start getting canceled and it's going to get bad. This next couple months is going to be rough, I think. I hope I'm wrong. But
we're so close. I mean, we're going into what are we going into? Week 11, 12 here? 11, right?
Yeah.
We're going to week 11 right now. And it's just like to get this far and to have survived this far and to have a chance of even making fantasy playoffs it's going to suck if all of a sudden, like, oh, so much for the season.
Man. Well, what would they do if it just got so bad that they had to just cancel the season? Like, what would they do? Would they have a play? How would they do it? I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I'm hoping for the best, but we might have to expect the worst at this point. So I got one more tight end, and we're back to the Lions. For the same reason I'm starting Marvin Jones and Marvin Hall, TJ Hawkinson. He did have a toe injury, but he looks like he's okay. He's good to go for Sunday. Maybe with Matt having that injury, he won't be launching the ball as much. He'll just drop it off to his little safety blanket and TJ Hawkinson. Maybe he'll get some goal line work. I'd have him in your lineup. I think he's actually a top 5 option this week at the position, TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, it seems like it, but you never know. It seems like it with the Lions. It seems like a lot of things. And tight ends are just scary to me, man.
Right. Like I said,
there's a huge drop-off. It should be a good situation, but we'll see.
Right. But like I said, there's just a huge drop-off, and you're expecting all these things from like Hurst and Fant and Hawkinson and Higbee and all these guys, and they're not doing it, man. It's just after those top 2 guys, it's just a huge drop-off, and you never know what you're going to get week in, week out with a tight end. So, yeah. Well, anyway, I guess that wraps it up for me. Got anything to add?
I guess draft better. Don't be stupid. You know who's going to get hurt. This guy, I don't know. What do you do?
You drafted, like, what, 2 out of the 3 of your first picks have been hurt pretty much all season, or what?
I mean, for me, my RB1, my RB2, and my RB3, technically my flex, have pretty much combined for like 12 missed games, and I still have a winning record.
Yeah.
I'm surviving this far. I just need these guys to come back. I need Mixon. Mixon looks like he's going to miss 2 or 3 more weeks. And hopefully Montgomery, he's got some pretty easy matchups coming up. Hopefully Montgomery can be plugged in there and do the job I need him to do and stay healthy. Miles Sanders, please God, stay healthy. You know, all these clowns, get me to the playoffs. Just get me there.
Right. So it looks like you got some No Shave November going on right now, or?
Yeah, and I haven't even bought my tags yet. You know, it's meant for the guys who go into the wilderness and go kill themselves a big old fat buck, but I haven't even bought my damn tags yet.
I forgot about it, and I shaved like 3 or 4 days into November. I like trimmed it, but I've pretty much been adhering to it since then. I don't know if I'm gonna get out in the woods or not this year, but all right, man. Well, hope everything's safe. Everybody's safe. The family's doing good. Same to everybody out there. Be safe and try to enjoy the rest of the season the best you can, and hope that we have a rest of the season. I am going to leave you with Uncle G's kicker report for the week. And don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Love ya.
Very, very much.
Greetings, fans and friends. Uncle G here with this week's kicker report. For those of you following along, we had a better week last week. We picked top 6 out of 11 kickers. We had number 1, 2, and 3 tied, 6, 7, and 8 tied, 6 out of 11. We did have the dubious honor of picking the number 28 kicker out of 28 kickers who played the game last week. So thank you, Kiami Fairbairn from the Houston Texans, for kicking your 1 point after touchdown attempt. So 7-10 game, but that was a severe weather affected game. Rain, snow, sleet, hail, lightning delay. So, we live and die by the numbers. Weather got us in that one. But more, just as often as not, that helps the kickers. So we didn't do very well on that one, but otherwise good week. We hope to have a similar good week or even better this week. Here's our numbers. Number 1, we like this week is Harrison Butker for Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2, Michael Badgley for the Chargers. Number 3, Justin Tucker for the Ravens. Another bad weather kicker last week. 4, Ryan Suckup for Tampa Bay. 5, Green Bay, Mason Crosby. 6, Joey Sly for Carolina. 7, Zane Gonzalez for the Cardinals. 8, Las Vegas Raiders, Daniel Carlson. 9, Jason Myers for the Seattle Seahawks. 10, Kiami Fairbairn, Houston Texans, coming back this week. And rounding it out, Jason Sanders for Miami at number 11. Good luck in high scores and long ashes, as they say. Thanks. I'm back next week.